Go back! I want to be Monkey!
Ayoo, Monodachis! I hope you're all having yourself a wonderful, fantastic, and extra spectacular day today. Welcome, welcome! I'm still popping up on my chats and stuff, so just give me a quick moment. And we'll go ahead and get started. Of course, I said yesterday that we were gonna check out some of this some of the news in regards to NVIDIA. I actually use a lot of NVIDIA products, both hardware and software. So I kind of want to. Oh, this thing is like a little too twisted, isn't it? Isn't this too slanted? Hold on, let me check. Let me try to fix this real quick. That didn't fix it. Okay, cool. There we go. Now my neck doesn't look like it's broken. Alrighty. Perfect. Ayo, healthy average. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day today. Thank you for swinging by. Hello, Seahawk. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're having yourself a good one. As well, welcome, welcome. No, YouTube, I didn't want to freaking send you feedback. I want you to freaking pop out your stupid chat. Oh, there we go. And now Twitch. Alright, sweet. We got everything. We are good to go. And hopefully everyone's in, but regardless, we're gonna start off with a nice, easy video. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too, like, spicy or anything like that. So if you know, whoever's not here right now, it's fine. You're not gonna miss anything too crazy. However, if you are a tech enthusiast like me, then this video might actually interest you quite a bit. Because the 5070 Ti series, which, let's be completely honest, the Ti series is pretty much the everyday man, the average consumer's, like, dream graphics card, right? Because in case you guys are not, like, super into the lingo or super into, like, the technology, which why would you, right? Most people don't ever buy multiple graphics cards. You just buy your one or two, maybe once every 10 years. But or at least you should be once every 10 years. But basically, every time there's, like, a new generation of graphics cards coming out, they normally release, like, it's normally like the whatever the generation is. So it'll be the 20 series, the 30 series, the 40 series, the 50 series where we're currently at, and it'll be the 50, it'll be the 5060, the 5070, and the 5080 normally. It all really depends, like, what the frick you're actually like what the specs of the card is, as well as, like, there's a whole thing behind it, but whatever. Point being is that there's normally the Ti version, which is kind of a nice middle ground where you kind of get the like, what's the best way to explain this? You get the hardware of a 5060 series, right? Effectively. Or how about you get you get the hardware of a 5070 series, but it's, like, pushed to its upper, like, its absolute limits. So you essentially could get away with, like, saying that you almost can get, like, 5080 series power, you know? So the point is that the Ti is always a much cheaper alternative horsepower, a sort of best bang for your buck version of the other graphics cards that normally come out. So for someone like me who constantly has to, like, I definitely can't afford the highest quality graphics cards. I can never afford the really high end ones, but I could get myself a nice little cheap something something, you know. And in special occasions, I would decide, I would, like, hold off as long as I could, earn up enough money to get the Ti versions instead of, like, the 5060 version or whatever it might happen to be at the time. So it's kind of like one of those things where a lot of people will not buy the 5080 series or the latest series because there's a chance that the best bang for your buck model version is going to come out, you know, sometime following soon.
This is what gaslighting looks like.
Now, of course, in a situation where the companies know that they're going to make a more affordable version, right? They normally don't necessarily want to have everybody going to buy the cheaper version because they want the numbers to look good for their board members. And it seems like once again NVIDIA has kind of came up with a very, let's say, let's call it what it is, a freaking nonsense response to why they've just completely stopped the TI series. In past years, they've used the excuse that there's not enough microchips, there's not enough this, that, and the other, there's not enough RAM, there's not enough. It's like, okay, well, there's apparently enough for you to make the high quality version. It's just not enough for the cheaper ones. Cool. But let's get into it. I've
This is what
spoken enough.
gaslighting looks like.
Bam.
Not this, NVIDIA. You know, I'm gonna preface this by saying I feel bad for certain people at NVIDIA. There's people we know for years that work there that are passionate about what they do with their jobs, passion for games, passion for building amazing hardware. And then there's the leadership. And there's a huge disconnect between that group of people at NVIDIA versus the people we talk to on a regular basis and the people we interact with at NVIDIA. There is the biggest disconnect like I have never seen in a brand. Obviously, I'm about to talk about the 5070 Ti being discontinued and the 5060 Ti probably very shortly thereafter.
I was gonna ask. Okay, so the 5060 Ti is not like it's not it's not currently unavailable yet. But see, normally me, right, as a monkey who really needs to count his pennies, I would normally always go for like if I could do it, the 5070 Ti. But if I couldn't and I had to save up, a 5060 Ti will absolutely game with the best of, like, the Ti's have always been solid options. They really have.
If not already discontinued by the time you watch this video. The reason why I say that this is
I think my 5050 Ti, Chaos actually sold me his 5050 Ti, and that thing ran some of the dude. I still have it, and I ran that thing. Bro, that thing is used like a Alameda Street hoe. I mean, dang.
Gaslighting is the shortages
like
at which NVIDIA is using as the drive for discontinuing these two products is because of their AI business. This is no surprise to anyone. Anyone that has even a fraction of a functioning brain knows this. But what we're seeing here is rather than targeting a 32 gigabyte product to say we cannot meet demand. Let's go ahead and back up for a second here. I'm sorry. This is a very non-scripted. None of my videos are scripted, but this is a very non-scripted video that's coming from a very just fed up position of this entire fiasco. So it's going to be kind of all over the place. But I digress. The 5070 Ti is a 16 gigabyte part. The 5060 Ti has a 16 gigabyte part. There is an 8 gigabyte variant of that as well. The 5070 is a 12 gigabyte part, and the 5060 is an 8 gigabyte part. The demand that they cannot meet is not for these products. It is for the AI products that NVIDIA is currently creating. I forget the name of their AI GPUs that they develop. I'm talking about the big ass fucking ones that are like the size of my table that are a GPU.
Okay, so it's like it's not even related. So they're basically using a supply issue that's not even related to the parts that they actually need to make the TIs.
Because
like,
they are
essence,
gobbling up the RAM. I think the term is hoovering up. I imagine a vacuum cleaner sucking up all the RAM chips off the ground. That's really what's happening here. And to meet the demand of their professional customer, being the millions upon millions of data center machines that are being built, is what they can't meet the demand of. So they have to look at where can we now allocate or reallocate components and or materials. They looked at their stack and said, we've got the 5090 at 32 gigabytes. We've got the 5080 at 16 gigabytes. We've got the 5070 Ti at 16 gigs, 5070 at 12, 5060 Ti at 16 and 8, and then we've got the 5060 at 8. Rather than say, maybe we should slow down production on a Halo product that is, well, admittedly, now the poor man's entry into LLMs, to be honest. And I say poor man's because it cost anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000 and going up on average. And I say
Yeah. Damn.
between because the MSRP of the 5090 is $2,000, which you know sells for way more than that. And then all the AIBs start at about $2,500 and go up from there. These are what entry-level LLM users and AI developers are basically using. Then you've got the RTX Pro 6000 at like $9,000 plus, and it only goes up from there to the hundreds of thousands of dollars for the GPU product. So rather than say we could save RAM by producing less 5090s, or producing less 5090s and allocating some of that memory towards this product stack to keep this going, which is admittedly, like this is like the upper cap for many people on what they can spend on a graphics card. It's like, it was about $750 at the time. It's gone up significantly even since the news broke because of panic buying. They've decided to discontinue the product because that 16 gigabytes of RAM can go towards the professional product or continuing to build more 5090s.
I mean, to be completely fair, right? If you really had to, like from a business standpoint, if you had to make a decision, the two choices here are make more product for consumers or mass sell bulk cards to these companies. And obviously they see the mass bulk order as potentially way more I wouldn't say good looking, but there's probably a better word for it. But it looks a lot better for the board. It sort of like makes it seem like, oh, like our sales this quarter, this annual, whatever the frick, are through the roof. But of course, just like with everything else, once the demand for AI like cards goes down, we are gonna see a lot, and I do mean a lot of that coming back to bite them in the butt because they're just not gonna be able to meet the same numbers.
5060 Ti 16 gig obviously falls in that same
the same
boat.
look,
8
pretty much.
gigabyte category will stick around because it's 8 gigabytes, and the 5070 they still have to have a 70 tier. They can't get rid of that tier entirely. This is one of the reasons why you're not seeing the super cards, which are rumored, which absolutely positively were in development. We know this for a fact because there has been Ti super variants now for several generations. Obviously, if they're gonna have to discontinue the 5070 Ti, it would look very strange for them now to come up with the 5070 Ti Super. But I don't know, maybe in another crazy world they'll get rid of the 5070 Ti and then just bring out the 5070 Super or 5070 Ti Super, and then call it a day. Like, they never needed to keep them all around. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they're just reallocating those chips to another product. I call it the ultimate gaslighting because it's kind of being, NVIDIA has not confirmed this. Obviously, we are working off of reports of rumors, and then Hardware Unboxed's recent video where one of their AIB partners actually told them directly this is what they've been told by NVIDIA. So this is definitely the game of telephone, but I find Hardware Unboxed to be credible. So I'm taking that information as gospel at this point. I haven't reached out to any of our direct AIBs, but it doesn't matter because the reports are already out there and they've already confirmed it on their end. As far as I'm concerned, we'll operate on that information as if it is exactly what's happening. The gaslighting comes from the fact of it making you feel like, oh my gosh, consumers are buying up the 5070 Ti at such incredible rates, we can't keep up with demand. So because we can't keep up with demand, let's just go ahead and cancel it. Why on earth would you cancel a product if it's that popular? Wouldn't you want to scale demand? Wouldn't you want to scale up production to try and meet more of that demand?
Yeah, again, classic corporation move where they and you can actually see this in the video gaming sphere in general, where as the game is failing, but everybody keeps talking about like, oh, the game has record-breaking numbers of people playing at the same time who all happen to be named Jerry. It's like, oh, cool, record name. That's a little specific, don't you think? Yeah, but it makes it look good on the box, you know?
No, it's because NVIDIA cannot make the same kind of dividends off of a $750 product, asterisk, because it's definitely more than that. It's because they want to just continue to build out their AI inventory and their AI customers. So it's gaslighting because you are kind of being sort of blamed for it, but the reality is you are not the problem. The product finally made its way down to MSRP. only to immediately hit a springboard and jump back up into scalper territories because it's opportunistic for people to now run out and buy these because that's about the only product people can afford. And so now it's opportunity, and that's what scalpers basically thrive on. This is kind of unprecedented as far as I'm concerned, because in 13 years, I've never seen anything like this. The other funny thing is there's still no...
Am I the only one who feels like, rather than actually trying to help with the scalper problem, NVIDIA sort of plays into it?
Evidence of AI actually being profitable for anybody. So, well, let me rewind. It's profitable for NVIDIA into the trillions of dollars because NVIDIA is...
you can't forget the main people here that are winning is NVIDIA, right?
Basically, the 2026 version of a late-night infomercial trying to sell you the concept of you can get rich by buying real estate if you buy their book. And the book is how that person's making millions of dollars, not on the real estate. You get rich by selling the idea and selling the tools that somebody else finds out later didn't actually work. So NVIDIA is gaslighting the consumer.
What? You're telling me that book I purchased that's gonna teach me how to be an alpha male isn't gonna actually teach me how to be an alpha male?
By removing about the only consumer-ish friendly product in their entire stack so they can continue to Scrooge McDuck around in their giant silo of money. For those people right now that are probably typing, this is why I love AMD. They're not your friend. AMD is not your friend either. AMD just doesn't have the scalability that NVIDIA does in terms of capital to move quickly, but they're on that trajectory and CES proved it.
That's the thing though, right? If they really wanted to, they absolutely could focus primarily on the consumer end and sort of dominate that market as NVIDIA pushes towards AI, more towards like, sort of corporate AI, larger scale graphics card, bulk orders, stuff like that.
Kind of people that were just like...
Kind of like what's, in a weird way, happening to Intel right now.
AMD, you understand AMD is just following NVIDIA's lead, right? You understand that apple literally fell from the neighboring tree. They
always have been. It's like not a guess why AMD always releases pretty much the same number of graphics cards, variants, and everything right next to each other, right?
Related. And so many people still don't even realize that Lisa Su and
It's almost a tit-for-tat battle between the two companies.
Jensen are related. But I can promise you that AMD is just following NVIDIA's path. It is a profitable path. It is a path that is working for NVIDIA, and AMD wants their chunk and their slice of that pie as well. So please stop fooling yourself into thinking that AMD is actually your friend. Now, the same thing goes for AMD. The people we talk to at AMD, all of the product developers, all of the product managers, the marketers, they absolutely love and believe in the product that they are involved with. But there is a huge disconnect between leadership and those teams. So please let me be clear. When I say NVIDIA, screw them, blah, 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 I'm not saying screw those people. I feel bad for those people. I feel bad for those people that are involved in the designs and all of the effort and energy that goes into creating what they believe is the greatest product they can come out with on either side for gamers, only for gamers to just be completely shunned by leadership. We already know.
It's almost as if NVIDIA never cared about the gamers this whole time.
Jensen's entire philosophy on all of this, and this is, we'll talk about a bigger problem in a moment here, but when when Jensen got on stage and said, AI is the house that GeForce built, we were nothing but a rung in a ladder to get to somewhere else, and now that it is less than 10% of the total revenue, I don't know what the profit is like for NVIDIA when it comes to gamer grade hardware, but now that it's far less than 10% of its total revenue, it's obvious what the writing on the wall is. I don't think they're ever gonna stop making gamer graphics cards. I just think the gaming landscape, as far as we know it right now, until this AI bubble bursts, we have no idea what this is gonna look like. The other thing I wanted to say,
I genuinely think it's going to be pushed back into the same area it was during the Rona, where it's going to be incredibly volatile, it's going to be a short supply, and it's going to be scalper central.
is also the backtrack on
Honestly.
the whole concept of Jensen's policies that they are a private company that is not to be, involved with government and all of that. Well, we obviously know which direction that went. So now you're just seeing extreme bootlicking on a level that is just, it's gross. It is so unabashed. It's disgusting. So to see that 180 tells me everything we need to know about NVIDIA's leadership as a whole. Again, I think the products are amazing. Nobody can deny, with the exception of the melting connector problem, which NVIDIA plays a part in because they were a consultant with PCI SIG.
That is a little bit. That's kind of a big problem when your connectors melt. You kind of need the connectors to not melt inside of a PC. In fact, I typically like nothing in my PC to melt, if at all avoidable.
So is Intel. We all can agree.
Every reseller is a scalper. I mean, yeah, basically, right? But retail has an MSRP. And that's why they're called retail, because they have to sell at MSRP. Right? Or at least, they're meant to, right? If you sell above that, then you're just a scalper. Or, I guess a true scalper would theoretically buy it at MSRP and then sell it to you at a higher rate, right? I'm not, there's no splitting hairs here, but basically, yeah, like, I feel like
the 59.
And anybody that sells it for higher than MSRP, like, realistically, is just, like, scalping at that point, right? To a certain degree. So I agree with you.
Brute
for sure.
of a GPU. It just, unfortunately, comes with a brute price tag to go along with it. Could you imagine if the 5090 was $1,000? Everyone would want one. There was nobody out there that wouldn't want one at $1,000. Now, whether or not...
At $1,000, the 5090, I think a lot of people would buy it. I could start, like, saving up money. If it was at 1,000, I would save up money to buy one, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, putting it at 1,000 is, like, within, like, oh, I don't know if I could buy it now, but if I start, putting away money now, eventually I'll be able to buy it. Like, that's something you could work towards.
You can afford it doesn't mean you don't want it, so don't fool yourself. But at the same time, I don't know what the future is going to look like regarding a lot of this. So I think what we're going to see is the 5070 continue to exist at 12 gigs until they start realizing now they need to steal more memory chips from the production line and the packaging of products. Because we already saw NVIDIA remove the chip packaging for the AIBs, right? AIBs have to source their own chips, which is...
Just going based off of past history, I can absolutely see them completely shutting off manufacturing for all of these, except for the main three moneymakers, or the main two moneymakers, really, which would be the 5070, the 5080. And then pretty much just like letting the supply diminish on the rest. I'm just gonna be honest, right? That's what they've done in the past. It's sort of been an open secret that they really hard focus their efforts on the sort of like highest money ratio cards, right? Like
led to an artificial inflation.
And no surprise, right? I would do that if I owned the company
too. The buying
too,
power that
NVIDIA
wrong. Does in terms of quantity. We all know the more quantity you buy, the better discount you get. NVIDIA is keeping all those chips for themselves. So the 5070 12 gig will stick around, and the 5060 Ti 8 gig will probably stick around because they still have to have those stacks. But this is just one of those things where this video is probably nothing more than making myself feel better.
This has nothing to do with the video, but my dog I swear he's half Chihuahua or something. He just freaking scared him. He scared himself. He just got scared by his own tail. He just freaked the hell out. I saw it all happen under my desk. It was the funniest shit. He literally just saw his tail and flipped. He was like laying down, getting ready to go to bed. He just sees his tail and flipped the hell out.
Let's not fool ourselves.
I've never witnessed it, but I really just saw him do all that.
Steve at Gamers Nexus does.
I was about to mention how cute it is to see him like rolling up under the table, and then suddenly he just like, what the hell is that? And he just freaking flips out.
Like due diligence and involving uncovering so much of this information in these document trails and stuff, but it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to change. The whole Palantir.
To be fair, he also chases it. He chases his little tail and does like the whole like 360 spinning in place thing. So So that'd be fair
thing. I understand the reasons behind the whole like real push on the grossness between the Palantir and NVIDIA collaboration there. It's not making any difference. It's not going to make a difference. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be loud and vocal about it. I'm just saying don't expect anything to come of it, is all I'm saying there. So you might as well.
Yeah, even though we've had, the NVIDIA has had a lot of open communication with a lot of content creators, and a lot of just the community in general, right? The market in general. The leadership at the end of the day is really who has all the power. So no matter how many developers, engineers, and this is coming from someone who used to work alongside actual genuine Samsung phone engineers that like worked on the Galaxy Note, the Notes 5, Note 6, Note 7, 8, and they will tell us how at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how passionate you are. If they decide something needs to be changed, even if you know that there's a more efficient way to do something, or even if you think something like could potentially have a better like, oh, this card or this like one little thing, this one little change could potentially, just sort of like pull out a little bit more power out of the device. But the overall cost to create would increase, and we at that point we would technically lose a little bit, a couple of pennies each sale, and it's like, all right, well then we're not doing that, period. So those kinds of changes. I mean, there's always going to be that like, should we take that extra step? And the leadership, in order to save $1, is always, well, a penny really, is always going to say no. Right, and that sucks. That does suck, but it's like one of those things where it's like the only real solution is that the actual engineers need to stop being engineers and become the leadership. But then, but then you don't have the engineers doing that job anymore either. And it sucks. It sucks to see, but there's if you think about it, they don't hire CEOs because they're good they're good like computer guys, right? They hire CEOs because they know how to penny pinch. There's that's their whole purpose.
You'll actually get better results yelling at the passing by cloud than you will getting Jensen or anyone in NVIDIA to actually listen to people.
But by law, the corporation has to make as much profit as possible. I mean, to a certain degree, you're correct. They have to work within the best interest of the board, not in the best interest of the consumer, right? The customer is the customer, and the customer is who you're trying to convince to buy your product. But the reason you're doing that is, of course, not only for profit, but because that profit will incentivize more people to purchase, shares in the company. The board, sort of like, everything. You want to make it look as good and as nice as possible. At the end of the day, it's not like the board is some evil organization at the top of the pillar, right? But it's a theoretical board, right? Like, no matter what, the CEO, the COO, they're the president of the company. They want to make their shareholders happy. Because they need to. Like no matter what. Like a company just has a process. So yeah, you absolutely need to pinch as many pennies as possible. That's always going to be a clash where there's always going to be, we want to make this thing and we want to make it as good as possible, but we gotta remember that it needs to be profitable. And it sucks, but what can you do? Unless you're freaking Elon Musk and you're just like, screw NASA, I'm making my own damn spaceships. Then there's nothing you can do. There's really nothing you can do. Unless some Saudi Arabian prince wants to suddenly purchase AMD and all of a sudden be like, yo, we're gonna focus only on video, like gaming culture, the consumer, then all of a sudden things change. But you would literally need to be a Saudi prince or some Elon Musk millionaire to actually forego any board or forego any shares and say, screw everybody, I'm just doing this for this reason, to make the actual technology advance.
Because we do not generate trillions of dollars.
And even then, Elon Musk makes money by other methods, right? It's not like freaking. I don't think he makes money off of sending spaceships to space. I think he loses money doing that. But of course, the government helps them out a lot, right? But I'm not going to get into all that.
So, my recommendation. I don't have one. It's rare that I don't have one. This news broke a few days ago. Took me some time to get to this one because I was busy repairing this guy, which, fun fact, I finally did it. It's not perfect. I've got to redo it again because I have some leads that aren't jointed as well as I need, so I'm getting some variance across some of the amps per pin.
I have a PlayStation 4 that needs a motherboard repair, and I just don't even want to touch it because it's like Call of Duty, Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3, Alien, you remember when the zombie, it was like, instead of zombies, it was aliens, the extraction? It's a Call of Duty Black Ops 3 edition PlayStation 4, and I don't want to touch the motherboard. And I know if I send it into Sony, they're going to BS me and try to keep it, and it's like, or like send me a new one. And it's like, no, I want that housing, just fix the motherboard. Because it's it's got the orange marks all over it, it's so cool.
But the bottom line is the card still works, it still boosts.
At this point, I really just gotta like, just grow a pair and just, because I have my own soldering equipment, I should just go for it. But I also have a Nintendo 64 that it seems as though the connection for video is just not working, and more than likely similar situation. I'm probably gonna have to solder the board or solder the leads, but I don't want to touch it. I really would just rather have somebody else fix it and pay them the money, because if I mess it up and then I take it to them, then it's gonna be a worse problem. You know what I mean? I don't want to take it to I don't want to mess it up and then have to take it to a repair anyways, and then have to pay more money for my own stupidity.
It does everything I need it to do. It just has some unevenness on the pin amps, and that's 100% because of my solder joints. I can work on that. So I stuck with it, and I'm doing another video about using this card, of removing and replacing the connector and hopefully doing a better job. But after watching about 12 hours of Alex's videos at Northridge Fix, did I finally figure out some of the technique to at least have a solid starting point to build upon. And I'm thinking now it's more important than ever that I be able to repair
Repair what on the motherboard? So for the PlayStation 4, I have to fix the it's basically like whatever the hell controls the actual first I replaced the HDMI port. Easy. Working now. The problem is that it has power issues as well. And so it'll boot up but then shut off immediately, even with a brand new power supply. On the Nintendo 64, it's just, I'm assuming it's just that little daughter board. I think. I have to re-look up the Nintendo 64 repair, or tear down again. But if that little piece is a daughter board, then it's just, I probably can either just replace the daughter board, or it would have to be soldered. I'm not sure. But for that, it'll just be the display output.
My own cards.
Potentially maybe resoldering.
It's like we're becoming Cuba of graphics.
I haven't opened the Nintendo 64. I found it in a junkyard, and it didn't have a battery pack. And so I took it and purchased all the components and tested it out, and it seems to power on and everything. It's not giving me a display. And that's the one I kind of want to fix more, because I have a PlayStation 4, a regular, normal, non-special edition PlayStation 4. So I actually want to fix the Nintendo 64 before I fix the PlayStation. That one's not even an issue, right? It looks nice on my freaking on my little freaking display here that I got, but so it's like I'm not stressing to play the PlayStation 4. I have one that works. I use it to play my Blu-ray movies and all that. So
cards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, because of the whole Cuban Missile Crisis back in the 60s. And the fact that Cuba has been
I didn't do an entire reflow on the motherboard though. I unfortunately the only repair shop that used to let me offer to do that for me for free. I stopped, they didn't shut down, but I think the owner sold the store, and so it was somebody else, and I didn't have a connection at the time. So I kind of was like, I'm not paying $150 to reflow this thing. I got a working one. I don't need to.
Blockaded and embargoed for so long, they had to learn to make their own stuff to keep their cars running and all of that. And it's all just from random crap on the island that keeps the entire infrastructure running. If you ever watched, look, if you're bored and you're like, I need a break from tech stuff, go on YouTube and just look up Cuban engineering. and you will find some of the most creative and interesting
Stoopid
ways
engineering
that regular ass people have kept their 1957 Chevy running because that's the newest car they could get at the time.
Nice.
So it is fascinating, and I kind of feel like that's where
Well, who are you telling? I'm still trying to keep like my freaking Mustang has been like on its last legs since I bought it, and right now like the transmission needs to be rebuilt. But once it is, that thing's gonna be like kicking for a little while
I'm
longer.
entering regarding graphics cards right now.
Keeping that baby for a long time.
And for Louis Rossman, I'll probably try and hot glue something together just to spite the guy, but that's fine. Anyway, time to get out of here. This video is for nothing more than me to get it off my chest and now put it on you. So you do with it as you will. I don't know what the future looks like on this. I don't think the future of games is going anywhere. I just think we're going into the dark ages a little bit regarding what new hardware is going to look like, and that's.
I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw during the Rona pandemic, because there was also a huge delay on processors, chips at the time as well, and really I could just see it happening all over again. Except I can see Nvidia trying to sort of make up excuses for why it's happening. But let's be honest, it's gonna be because they want to sell. They're obviously out, like their output is now being more focused on AI, on like bulk orders for AI servers and AI what do you call them, data centers. There we go. I wish it gave me, yeah, it doesn't even give me error codes. I wish it gave me error codes. No error codes. No, that thing needs a reflow at bare minimum. I would send it to Sony just so they could put a brand new motherboard in it and say screw it. But again, I'm terrified that they're gonna want to keep the chassis or the frame, and I don't want that. I may do that. What I might do is I might send it to Sony and just document the entire process on YouTube, just in case something happens. You know, I'm not saying nothing will happen. I'm just saying I don't trust companies. I don't ever trust these companies. I had bad experiences with Microsoft in the past. You know, so let's just keep it at that.
All collectively hold our breaths so that we can wait.
And I had one of the worst experiences of my life with Gigabit, dude. I swear I had an entire. Oh, it must have been a 4-month long battle with Gigabyte. I hate them so much with such a passion.
Hear the pop heard round the world.
Absolutely phenomenal video by Jay's 2 Cents. Please go drop a like or drop a sub. If you like his stuff, drop a comment so the algorithm knows that you do. I'll be linking it on Discord, and if you're watching on the VODs, it'll be down in the description below. Luckily, I don't really need a freaking graphics card right now, but if you do, I'm sorry, but you missed the opportunity to get one at a good fair price. It's over. Keeping on theme with businesses potentially, you know, well, I guess I'm not gonna say failing, right? Because Nvidia's definitely not failing, not even close. If anything, they're making more money than ever now. But like on the topic of businesses not giving customers what they want, okay, I'm just gonna say this. Quiznos, if you're failing, it's because you didn't bring back those creepy, scary as hell, like dead rats commercials. Y'all remember when Quiznos used to like literally just get taxidermy dead rats and like make them dance in sombreros and shit? And people were just okay with that. That was just a thing to do. Like let me show you. I'm not even lying. The Quiznos rat commercials. These genuinely used to be Quiznos. This used to be their mascot. I'm not even joking. This was like an official thing. We'll see if we can find some of their ads, but let's get into the actual video first, and then you know, before I get distracted. Modern business have not reacted to them in the past, so please go show some support.
Did everything wrong and absolutely deserve their failure.
Oh, I'm glad he actually brought up. Sorry, I missed like the first second.
Quiznos did everything wrong and absolutely deserve their failure. Known for their signature toasted subs, Quiznos dominated the
Honestly, if they brought that back, I feel like they would still dominate Subway.
Sandwich industry from the time they opened in 1981 to the mid-2000s. At their peak, they had 4,700 locations, an astonishing number even today. To put their size into perspective, Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs today operate a combined 3,100 locations.
And I gotta be completely honest with you. Two things. One, Uber Eats and food delivery has completely changed the method that restaurants have been operating and building locations, right? So also not a necessarily fair comparison, because we had delivery, but delivery was a big deal back then. You only really had delivery for things like pizzas. It was something that was sort of embedded into the culture. You wouldn't really normally order delivery for Quiznos or other things like that. At least not normally. In recent times, it's become a much bigger boom. Even when takeout was first became a big thing, Grubhub, Uber Eats, it's really made it it's made takeout mainstream. So like, I mean, just look at like, you don't have to look too much further than look at how there was a time where McDonald's had a McDonald's damn near at every other block. Now it's not quite the same, right?
Quiznos was huge. During their heyday, they made billions in annual revenue. And
you've only ever heard about that joint? Yeah, no, because that's the thing, right? They were huge, but they were also like, they were renowned like basically as a direct competitor to Subway. Or at the time, it was really like, I get like, to be completely honest with you, it never really, like, I want to say it was absolutely a more of a West Coast type deal. I don't even think it was like huge to the north, really, like, or like, you know what I mean? So it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like all over the U.S.
Gave Subway a run for their money. Now, that's far from the case. In 2023, Quiznos operates less than 400 locations. From 2007 to now, their business shrunk by 90%. And this collapse is far and away the biggest failure in the history of fast food. The current state of Quiznos is sad. However, with hindsight, it's clear they had a flawed business model from the start.
I mean, to be completely honest, what it was, I don't even know if it was the business model. They lacked an identity. They genuinely lacked any kind of identity.
In 1981...
They don't have it in Finland. We have Subway shiz. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you think your Subway's bad, I don't know about Finland, but from what I have seen, Subway, like, does not even try here in California, comparing to where Subway outside of California. I'm just saying, like,
business partners Jimmy Lombardos and Todd Disner opened the first Quiznos location in Denver, Colorado.
I'm not saying it's good or not good or anything. Don't make a difference to me. Subway, like, when it was $5, I ate Subway every day. Not because it was good or anything, but because it was $5. You understand?
But before starting...
And a good deal makes any food taste good.
Quiznos, Jimmy and Todd got their start in business when they opened a fine dining...
Little Caesars Pizza was the best pizza ever, until they raised the price from $5. Now it's Costco and Sam's Club pizza that's the best pizza ever.
Italian restaurant called Footers in 1978. While operating Footers, Jimmy and Todd hatched an idea to start a new restaurant with a whole new concept. Their idea for this new restaurant was similar to that of Footer's, yet instead of fine dining,
Very
they
different quality standards. Oh yeah. Well, for starters, you probably have standards. We kind of have quality recommendations.
sought to create an Italian-style deli.
You know, it's more of a guide than an actual like rule.
In Footer's Kitchen, they formulated the brand concept and menu for Quiznos. Using their knowledge of Italian food, they developed a full menu, including submarine sandwiches, soups, salads, and a few pasta dishes. They invented recipes for red wine vinegar dressing and for their trademark soft baguette. Instead of using chopped,
Again,
informed meats, they opted for
rosemary parm is by far the best one.
quality cuts of whole muscle meat, including
Subway or Quiznos, I don't care which one, but that's just the best
capicola
one.
and Genoa salami. But most importantly, before adding any
I will say, compared to all of them, the Jersey Mike's is the best one.
vegetables, they toasted the sandwich
As far as
to
taste
melt the
goes,
cheese and bring
I
out
freaking
the
love Jersey
flavor
Mike's.
of the meat and bread. The concept of a toasted sandwich was an immediate hit, and customers fell in love with what at the time was a unique idea. From here, Quiznos began franchising, and that's where the first signs of trouble began to show.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting to hear it that way, because now Subway is by far way more known for like the toasted sandwich. And not only that, but they kind of took over the whole like it was branding, the $5 footlong, you know, they kind of took over that whole they sort of took over that the rave at the time of the sort of like quick sub, you know what I mean? If it hadn't been for the whole Jared situation, Subway would have continued to dominate.
1991, 10 years after opening the first Quiznos, Jimmy and Todd had a total of 18 locations.
I'm just gonna call it, if they would have stuck with the rat, you know, like, because the rat never diddled no kids. Like Jared might have, but the rat never touched no kids.
One averaging about 27,000 per month in sales. From the outside looking in, everything looked great, and their future looked bright. However, just below the surface, the business was crumbling. Though Quiznos as
let's be honest, right? I feel like it's a story as old as time. Company gets incredibly successful, and they try to expand way too quickly, and they don't give the expansion time to settle. Because it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, let's expand 10 more restaurants. Okay, cool. They wait like 1 year, and then they're like, all right, let's open more restaurants or something. And it's like, why would you do that? You have to give the new locations time to like settle in, see what the environment is like, how is the area going to be. Or they'll actually set up franchises way too close to each other and basically directly compete with each other for customers.
franchise continued to grow, it did so without improvements to individual restaurants, and the product
Like, maybe not in other places of the world like Europe, but here in California, it is definitely not like outside of the ordinary for me and the family to have to like travel 1 or 2 cities away just to go get food. Why? Because we just prefer the food over there and it's cheaper.
quality at some locations deteriorated. And
I'm not
unfortunately,
saying every time, right? We have cheap options here too, but we absolutely are willing to travel 1 or 2 cities away just to get the cheap food, the good
Jimmy
one.
and Todd didn't have the money or expertise to address these issues and were unable to provide support to existing franchisees. So in January 1991, Jimmy and Todd made the difficult decision to sell the company. They sold it to a franchise.
American sandwiches are probably the best in the world. You people talk so highly about Reubens and shiz. Dude, that's the thing. It's like sandwiches have like every state has like, I think doesn't every state have like their own sandwich? I swear this was a thing for a while there. They all have their own animal. Yeah. It used to be a real competitive thing. Not anymore, but like it used to be a pretty big competition. Like people genuinely used to like argue over like what was the best freaking like you know the lobster roll from Maine, the Maine lobster roll, the California French dip completely gone. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody talks about it anymore. Like not even a thing anymore. But absolutely the Cubano, like I delicious. Like there was a long time pastrami on rye for New York. Yeah, there used to be the Philly cheesesteak. Oh, delicious. But like yeah, in general, there was a lot of patriotism between states. Because states are so massive, right? It genuinely is like there's a lot of like patriotism. Well, maybe it used to be a lot more a bigger of a thing in the past. Now in like 2026, it's not as big of a thing. But way back when, it used to be like people used to have a general more patriotism towards their state rather than the country as a whole. And so it was a big thing to be proud of your state. You know what I mean? You had your state animal, your state sandwich, your state freaking everything, your state song, your state flag, your state like.
Franchisee named Rick Shadden, who already owned and operated 3 locations
We don't
with
drink.
his father.
We don't drink
Jake
that
Shadden.
kind of beer over
By
here.
this point, Rick had already been involved with Quiznos for about 4 years. The Shaddens, for better or worse, made Quiznos what it is today. From the get-go, the Shaddens wanted growth, which is
Like I never see people here in California drink Fireman's like beer, stuff like that, or you know stuff like that. Like there's just like different. There's all kinds of stuff. It's not just in sandwiches.
of course understandable. However, the issue was how they went about achieving growth. They immediately began building an infrastructure that would promote growth and profit over everything else. Just 2 years after buying the company, they increased their annual sales from 7 million to 8.5.
No, the Cubano is a sandwich. It's a freaking it's a freaking amazing sandwich. It's basically just they put everything into one sandwich. Damn near. I mean, there you go. It's freaking. What did it say? It's freaking. Damn it! The first time it freaking pulled up, it gave an actual ingredient list. But it's basically just stacks and stacks of meat on top of each other, with pickles. This one looks like it's been freaking panini pressed or something though. A Cubano is different than a Cuban sandwich, by the way. I think a Cuban sandwich is different. Like there will be places that have this is more of what I'll see here in California. With an actual like not panini pressed. Well, I mean it's still pressed. It looks like, but I normally see it in a like bread from a torta, and not like from like these like panini whatever the hell this is. So even then, different states will do like the Cuban sandwich differently in California than in actual Florida or in Miami or whatever, you know.
5 million, and they doubled their locations from 20 to 40. It took Jimmy and Todd 10 years to reach 18 locations, and the Shaddens more than doubled this in 2 years. Encouraged by their immediate success, the Shaddens took Quiznos public in 1994, raising $4.4 million for the company. The following year, in 1995, Quiznos opened their 100th store.
I also feel like, again, sorry, unrelated to the video, but it was also a big thing for the American industrial era, where sandwiches were just really like, it was nice, cheap, easy to make, and fit inside of a lunchbox. Well, you know what I mean? Like it was just like super convenient. So sandwich culture really took off in America.
By 1997, they became the number 3 sandwich franchisor in the world, just behind Blimpie and then Subway. From here, they continued ramping up the rate they opened new restaurants until they reached a staggering 1,000 locations by the year 2000. Once again, from the outside looking in,
yeah, but see, nobody cared about the chef or this lady. All right, bring back the rat.
fantastic.
I bring back the rat with the annoying orange face.
Were seemingly making money and had little to complain about. But that was all about to change. Because unfortunately, at this point, Quiznos made the awful decision to form a subsidiary, also known as a company owned and controlled by them, called American Food Distributors. Franchisees had no choice but to buy their food and paper products through this company, and all the products were allegedly marked up so high it became near impossible to turn a profit. And the Shaddens did nothing to alleviate this problem for franchisees. They did the exact opposite. At some point along their business journey, the Shadden family realized they could make way more money selling supplies to franchisees via American Food Distributors than they could earning royalties.
And here's the thing. There is a company that technically also does this, but at a much more sustainable rate, and that's Little Caesars. They pretty much are owned by, I forgot the parent company, but Little Caesars is owned by a parent company that pretty much sells all the products to the other pizza companies, like you know, Pizza Hut, Domino's, and stuff. Which is why they could afford to make like the $5 pizzas, the hot and readies. For a long time.
To an article by Wolf of Franchises. In peak years, American Food Distributors made $200 million in revenue, while royalty revenue was roughly $70 million. And all the profits made from this allowed for even more growth, because between 2002 to 2004, Quiznos ballooned from 1,700 locations to 3,300 locations.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, obviously at that point, it's no longer about trying to like make the restaurant expand. They just want to get as many franchisees as possible so they can make as much money as possible selling them supplies, right, from the subsidiary, as opposed to, you know, royalties are nice and all, but even if one location fails, the royalties don't matter that much anymore. As long as there's like 10 other locations that are also buying your supplies, who cares, right? The problem is that when you sort of take that mentality, you're gonna end up with a lot of locations closing down, and even if it doesn't matter in the short run, in the long run, it's going to like eventually crumble. You're building a castle on sand.
Around the mid-2000s, franchise owners began voicing their concerns when national promotions mandated they offer low prices, but they had to pay above-market prices for their supplies. Franchisees became fed up with not making enough profits and started suing Quiznos. One lawsuit cites a memorandum drafted by a Quiznos lawyer in 2003 that stated 40% of Quiznos units are not breaking even, a fact that prospective franchisees say they were never told. Franchise owners...
It's like, bro, you're at the point where you have Quiznos suing Quiznos for Quiznos overcharging Quiznos. You would think they would all be on the same team, right? But no, it's like the greed of some people is so much that they can't just like be happy with the royalties or be happy making like everybody making money together. No. Okay, I need to make all the money. You guys don't get to make the money. I make all the money.
Felt scammed when their friends...
Okay, I don't want $7 million in royalties. I want $40 million.
Franchises weren't performing...
Because $7 million doesn't get me 3 yachts. And I need another yacht. I can't... What, am I supposed to use the same yacht? Like during the summer and the winter? That's stupid.
The way they had hoped. They felt like Quiznos
The next thing you're gonna tell me I have to take out my fall yacht during the spring. No, I have a spring yacht and I have a fall yacht.
Of them. You also have stories of people like Elisa Whitehall, who say that
they
3
have
years after
schemes.
handing over her check for the licensing fee,
I can't use the summer yacht, the winter yacht during the summer because I have leather furnishings on the winter yacht, and it's gonna get sweaty during the summer. Please.
yet to open a
Just-
Quiznos in the
why aren't you
location
using your
she
mind?
bought,
Use your
and
brain on this.
Quiznos
Come on now.
refuses to return her $25,000 licensing fee.
Just common
According
sense.
to a lawsuit, from 2003 to 2005, Quiznos collected about $7 million in fees from the 350 franchising licenses that it sold but never found locations for. In 2000,
Damn. So wait, so you sold them the rights to franchise, but then never actually helped them like pick a spot? Damn, so these people just had to like sit around and wait, potentially still pay their royalty fees and their dues, but never actually like got assistance in like finding a place to actually set up shop and actually start selling sandwiches.
2005, to add insult to injury, Subway launched 2 fatal attacks on Quiznos. Number 1, they added
Oh damn, 2 fatal attacks. The first one was the $5 footlong. The second was they sent in Jared.
toasters to all of their locations. And number 2, they kicked off their
By the way, I don't give a fuck. To this day, y'all better go get yourselves. I don't care. I know it's not real tuna. Neither is the freaking shit they put inside the tuna cans. The fish of the sea, that's not actually tuna either. But what I'm saying, whatever the hell that mimic tuna fish, whatever the shit it is, that crap on like a rosemary parm, toasted tuna, ooh, with the cheese on it, pepper, a little bit. You could do pepper jack, or you could do American, but ooh, that was nice. The toasted tuna is actually really nice. I like that. That's good.
$5
Though
footlong
to be fair, Jersey Mike's does it better, but like Subway did it pretty nice for like the like 10 years that I was going to like school, middle school to high school, and freaking would walk over to Subway every day after school. It was badass. I loved it. Ooh, good.
promotion. Now,
And they had like this whole deal with my school where they were like, hey, if like you like it was like if you give these to your students, like they get like 5% off or some shit, like as long as they show their ID. And I had that shit everywhere, bro. Ooh, that was great.
Quiznos had no unique marketing angle for their sandwiches and thousands of locations that were bleeding money. On top of
Bro,
this,
I stole all those cards from all of my like friends and all my classmates. Cause like they didn't want to use them, and like it had like a limit, like it had like I think you had like 5 uses each per card, but like there was no name or nothing, bro. So I would just like I remember that day I would go around the school collecting them because people would just throw them on the trash or throw them on the floor, bro. Oh my god, I ate good for months.
Subway's marketing was phenomenal, and Quiznos
The chicken breasts are like some kind of paste cooked in mold. Oh, that's for sure, bro. I used to get the teriyaki chicken from the sweet onion chicken teriyaki. Bro, that chicken didn't look like, I don't know what the hell it was, cause like the chicken had layers. Like which is like I don't think chicken has layers like that. Like it looked like every time I bit it, the chicken looked like it had like the kind of layers you would see in onions. And it was like, that don't look right. But it tasted good, so I would still eat it, right? And it was $5. Did I mention it was $5?
was not. Even though Subway's mascot Jared aged poorly and sucks, it was nonetheless a successful campaign that shaped everyone's perception of Subway. Subway had Jared, and Quiznos
Nah,
had
bro, that was the funniest, stupidest thing ever. Because
poorly
like,
and
because like everybody was like, "Whoa, it's Jared! Look at Jared!" Meanwhile, this big ass text: results not typical. Ask your doctor before beginning any weight loss. Jared lost weight and is keeping it off by exercising and eating low-fat foods, including Subway's restaurants' low-fat sandwiches, including some. They basically would tell you in the commercial, "We're bullshitting you." It literally says it right there. We are bullshitting you, but it exploded everywhere. For those who don't know, he literally ate like half. So, well, I'm about to say half of a foot long. Stupid. So he would buy the 6-inch sub. It would be turkey. It would be lettuce and like bell peppers, I think, and no kind of condiments on it whatsoever. And that was it. And he had a lot of exercise, And he did not exclusively eat Subway. He also ate salads and other foods aside from Subway. So it was like, but in America, you have to understand. To an American, if you tell me I can, if you like, all I need to hear is I can eat a 12-inch sandwich of pure meatballs and marinara sauce and cheese, and you're telling me I can pretend like I'm eating healthy? Yeah, you won. You won me over. Like easy, done. And it costs $5. Let's go. Give me more. I'll take 3.
Sucks.
And that's
it
just
was
for
nonetheless
breakfast.
a
I'll be
successful
back for
campaign
lunch.
that shaped everyone's perception of Subway.
That's the one.
Subway
That's the one.
had Jared,
Look at that
Scott
shit. Like,
Jared,
I don't even look
aged
like chicken.
poorly and sucks.
It's
it was
delicious.
nonetheless a successful campaign that shaped.
Look at that. Like, you can actually see the layers of like whatever the hell it's supposed to be. It don't look right, but it tasted freaking bomb. It tasted good with that sweet and sour sauce. Ooh.
Everyone's perception of Subway.
And then I also mentioned that
Subway
it was $5.
had Jared and Quiznos had sponge monkeys. And it only gets
Sponge
worse
monkeys.
from here on out. In
Sponge
2006,
monkey.
in a leveraged buyout,
funky
Quiznos further
monkey.
sealed their fate when they sold 49% of the
It's
company.
a rat. Let's be honest. It's a freaking rat. It looks like a rat. It's a rat. I think it was supposed to be like a potato monkey or whatever, but a spud monkey, whatever. It's a rat. It's a freaking rat.
To
Look
a
at it.
private equity
It
firm
looks like a rat,
called
so it's a rat.
CCMP Capital Advisors. This leverage
It's like when you look at Chuck E. Cheese and they're like, it's a mouse. It's like, it's not a mouse. Chuck E. Cheese is a rat. Like I'm just gonna call. Sorry, this is a pet peeve. It has nothing to do with nothing, right? But I just need to. This infuriates me. Like, so this was Chuck E. Cheese when I was a child. Okay, that's a rat. What the hell? Get the hell out of my face with your freaking. No, I don't give a shit. No, I don't want it. That's a rat. This was my Chuck E. Cheese. Alright, so that's a rat. That's some Five Nights at Freddy's nightmare-inducing shit. And then suddenly they're like, oh, now we want to get all modern, okay? And now they got this ugly-looking thing. It's like, no, we're a mouse now. It's like, no, shut up. It's a rat. Go back. I don't want this. Nobody likes this. What the hell is that? He looks like a chipmunk. Nah, that's a squirrel. Look at those cheeks. That's not a rat. That's not a mouse. That's stupid. Get out of here. Nobody wants this stupid thing. Go back to the rat. I want this thing back. I want this horror-inducing thing back. That's what I want. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with the video. This is something that lives in the back of my brain, and it never goes away. I'm always thinking about
buyout
it.
left Quiznos with hundreds
There'll be times when I wake up in the middle of the night and I still think about it.
of
I'll be thinking about
millions of
Chuck E.
dollars
Cheese.
in debt, on top of every other hardship
I'll be like, that's a
currently
rat,
going on
fool.
in the company.
Stupid.
But oddly enough, their massive debt paled in comparison to what happened next. In 2007, Quiznos hit their peak at
It's easily
4,700
propane
locations.
accessories.
But unfortunately,
I'll tell you what, if Hank Hill saw me eating one of those sandwiches, he would absolutely be mad. He would give me a classic, that boy ain't right. Like, absolutely 100%.
that same year, they also hit their
I was
peak
not right, I'll tell you that much.
number of franchisees suing them. This article by Janet Sparks further illuminates the situation. Quiznos encountered a franchisee revolt so vast that it has been forced to settle, following
You're acting like they put drugs in them subs. To be honest with you, with how popular the Jared advertisements were, people genuinely acted like Subway was crack cocaine for a cool minute.
years of litigation brought by literally
And rather than trying to compete with Quiznos, and rather than trying to because obviously if subculture starts to take off, look at how Jersey Mike's did it, right? They kind of played into it, where they sort of like rode the wave of like, hey, we also have incredibly delicious subs for $5 just to get people in the door. But then Jersey Mike's would hit you with the or check this out, we got the premium high quality sandwiches and the hot sandwiches, like the what is it, it's not Kahlua. Kahlua is a beverage. Kahlua is alcohol. I'm an alcoholic. What is it called? The kahuna. The kahuna. The big kahuna sandwich from Jersey Mike's, right? So you start to like see like the primo stuff, and you like, ooh, hold up, ooh, damn, right? And so Jersey Mike's, that's kind of how they get you in there with like, so they kind of like played along with Subway. Jimmy John's, they kind of did the they kind of said, you know what, we're not going to reduce our prices. They kind of focused on the fact that they are obsessive and excessive with the amount of meat, carne, that they give you. And on top of that, they kind of made it a big deal to like be incredibly fast. Like they wanted to be well known for being like the fastest, like they're fast at making sandwich, fast at delivery, fast at everything. And of course, I don't know what the hell this is about, but like they also tend to do stuff like this, the whole like pickle sandwich and other stuff. This is actually an old thing. This has been going on for a while. The pickle sandwich. I don't know who did that first. Was it Jimmy John's actually? Because this is an old thing. I used to see this a long time ago, way back when veganism started to really pop off. But regardless, different companies went different ways. Quiznos, and it kind of makes sense now seeing it from a different perspective. They just didn't want to compete at all. Honestly, they really didn't.
Thousands.
And to be fair, it sounds like the reason why they didn't want to compete was because they were making all their money off of their own franchisees. They didn't have to compete. It didn't matter how many sandwiches they sold as long as the franchisees kept paying their dues. It's like a mafia. You know, as long you gotta keep paying your protection money. I don't care if your business is doing bad. You owe me protection money at the end of the month.
Of its franchise owner operators.
A deep fried pickle sandwich? It's not deep fried. But if you want it deep fried, there's probably a fair somewhere in Texas that does it. To be honest,
Judge Rebecca R. Palmer.
I have tried once in my life. I tried a deep fried Oreo. Let me just tell you something. I took one bite into it, and I genuinely felt the sugar coursing through my blood, like through my veins in my blood. I could almost feel the arteries start to clog up. But it was so delicious.
Filed an order and
we shared that between like all 7 people in my family. There's no way in hell. No, it was way too much. We bought like a pack of 3, and it was like no, like we did not eat all 3.
Dismissal in
I mean, eventually, right? We did, but like at the fair, hell no, it was too much. You instantly. Like, if you have a sweet tooth, that damn thing instantly took like that made you feel satisfied. Like, that's too much sugar. I'm done. I need a water.
That brings a close to the lawsuit. The deal promises to provide over $206 million to Quiznos sub-sandwich shop owners and to the system as a whole.
Not even because like I'm a big fan of chocolate. I haven't really tried Mars bars too much, but because of the King of the Hill episode, I want to try like a deep fried chocolate bar.
After the lawsuits, which prompted many franchisees to close their doors, Quiznos encountered the Great Recession of 2008. With stores already struggling, the recession was effectively the final nail in their coffin.
Remember how I mentioned that $5? Remember how I mentioned the sandwiches with $5? Bam, there you go. That's
2008 to 2012.
Yeah, it makes sense. 2008 to 2012, I would have been around high school around that time.
Quiznos closed over 2,000 stores.
Yeah.
If you do the math, that's over 1 store closure every day for 4 years. As more stores closed, the system they built began to crumble and weaken. Fewer stores meant less revenue from franchisees going to their marketing budget, which meant less eyes on their products overall. They were growing weaker each day, losing.
Okay, so like obviously, well, in hindsight, right? Hindsight's 2020. But if the actual like top of the chain, the top of the head doesn't like help out the legs, doesn't help the franchisees make their stores successful. No duh. Eventually, your legs are gonna fall off from underneath you. Like
stores losing money, losing everything. Finally, in 2014, after putting it off for as long as possible, Quiznos filed for bankruptcy on March 14th, 2014. They reported $875 million in loan obligations.
Damn.
2015 was truly the beginning of the end. At
Yeah,
this
they tried to do the squirrels, but the squirrels didn't work. Nobody cared about the squirrels. Go back to the rats.
point, they had less than 700 stores open, with more to close in the future. However, that same year, they launched a grill concept as part of their turnaround plan. This turnaround plan and grill
I have to assume that freaking failed because I have genuinely never seen one. I didn't even know about
concept
this.
failed within a year, and
Got it. Okay,
franchisees
understood.
continued to lose money and close more stores. 3 years later, in 2018, a private equity firm called High Bluff Partners, for some reason, purchased Quiznos. Quiznos is an iconic brand with room for growth, Jerry Lopez, High Bluff operating partner, said in a
I mean,
statement.
maybe at some point, right? But let's be completely honest. Jared from Subway, he ruined the whole like fast food sub experience for everybody for years. Like it was just like, cause let's just be real, right? Like that is what it is. Everybody made the same stupid jokes about Jared. That just is what it is.
We are excited.
Hey, Master Sam. Yeah, I'm sorry about the late streams, my dude. I promise you we'll do it absolutely. We're absolutely gonna be doing earlier streams. Just getting used to my medications and stuff. But once we're back at it, like I'm slowly getting back to my old rhythm. I swear. I promise you. Earlier streams. I
About
swear.
the acquisition. Well, it's been 5 years since High Bluff Partners purchased Quiznos, and about the only thing that's changed is they have about 40 less locations now. As of right now, Quiznos has 176 US locations and 183 international locations. It's possible that an
That's like, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. That's not bad at all. If you're an international company, that's like not bad. You kind of you're kind of placed all over the place. More than likely in very busy cities, right?
lifetime, we'll see this restaurant go completely extinct. And it's sad because, unlike Subway, people never complained about the quality of Quiznos.
Nah, the thing is, there's absolutely no reason for them to shut down, really. And as long as they're actually following a affordable model, they could absolutely start to even expand a little bit more. But again, they at this point, you really have to think about it from the perspective of like, you want to focus more on like quality versus quantity, and any expansion that they make needs to strictly follow like a certain quality control. And not for nothing, but I mean, I keep coming back to it, but Jersey Mike's is a great example of like, you gotta follow a specific quality control. There needs to be a specific amount of like, there needs to be a specific amount of meat on the sandwiches. There needs to be a specific, like, don't get so much like so obsessive that you do like Subway where they're like freaking like they have a measuring cup for the freaking cheese. Like, could you just freaking throw some more cheese on it? Damn you! Like, what is this? Like, come on. But actually give good quantities. Be smart about it. Purchase from like suppliers that would make it efficient, and don't expand needlessly. And honestly, I feel like a restaurant is one of those businesses that's like, you don't gotta advertise to get people in the door. It's food. Everybody needs to eat food. Everybody's going to go eat food. Like, right? It doesn't take. You don't need to try too hard. You will get You will get customers. I mean, they will come in.
Food. Quiznos didn't fail because people hated their food. They failed because the people in charge couldn't care less about the health and well-being of their franchisees. Over time, they began to see and treat them as customers. They became a glorified, expensive food distributor, and for that, they paid the ultimate price. They're basically gone now. The closest one to me is over 2 hours away, and I can only imagine that distance will grow further and further over time. But what do you think? Will Quiznos...
I mean, fair is fair. Anytime I go visit family over like in Riverside, it's an hour-long drive for me, but I pass by Sonic every time. So it's like, you make a good product, people will show up.
Quiznos ever make any kind of meaningful comeback in the near future, or are they doomed to suffer a slow and painful extinction? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, I know it's been a while since my last video, and I just wanted to say, I'm back. Let's do this. In all seriousness though, thank you so much for watching.
I'm sorry, right away. I'll give final thoughts on the Quiznos thing, but what's this video about why they hated Arby's? Get the hell out of here. Okay, Arby's, well, I mean, to be fair, I only ate it for like a couple of times, but it was freaking good, okay? Them Arby's gyros, the roast beef gyros, that was freaking lit! I'm sorry, that was good. Absolutely phenomenal video by Modern Business. I'm gonna go ahead and drop him a like. I'm gonna sub. Please go drop a like. Go drop a sub as well. This video's a bit old, but it was an interesting video. I just wanted to check out, and I might check out some of his more recent stuff too. Let's go ahead and move on. I got way too distracted, and we were like only 2 videos in to this stream. And again, we want to try to get as many in as possible before we start the gaming session. Kind of business related. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I struggled to find a theme today, but for the most part, technically business related, right? This guy he had a dentist business, except he freaking might have been faking it this whole time. He might not have really been a dentist and might have actually just been sort of scamming people. So let's kind of, see what this is all about.
This fake TikTok dentist spent years flexing a luxury lifestyle online, drilling into people's teeth without a license, selling 2-day veneer certifications with mimosas included, and he thought he was untouchable until prosecutors dropped a 113 count indictment on him.
I was there as in
113 counts. Damn!
Investigators raided Brandon Diller's northeast
How long is that gonna take to freaking process?
Atlanta dental office. It looked like the real thing. He had more than 157,000 followers on Instagram, but this new indictment charges him with 113 different charges, including RICO, 51 counts of theft by deception, and 21 counts of battery.
Yes! This couldn't have happened to a better person. Thankfully, there's now one less scumbag drilling into people's teeth without a license. But the wildest part of the story is, if you add up all the charges and he gets the max sentence, he's literally facing 888 years in prison. Obviously, he won't get...
You'd be surprised to know how many of them are phony. Listen, I can only imagine there must be an entire, underground secret, or if there's secret doctors, right? There has to be, secret underground dentists, too.
Get that, but that's still...
Obviously, this guy, the only problem is this fool actually recorded himself and put the evidence online.
Diabolical number for a fake TikTok dentist. The dude just couldn't stop documenting himself, breaking the law, and allegedly hurting so many victims. But this is definitely not the first time this guy's shown up here on this channel. But this time, I'm actually able to say he's officially been hit with a whole bunch of charges. And it's definitely not a small amount either. 113 counts, which is more than I think we've covered ever? Maybe? Have I ever covered someone getting hit with 113 counts? I don't think so. But today I'm talking about Brandon Dillard, the man who promoted himself online as Atlanta's top veneer specialist. Dillard...
Yeah, if you wanna send me over recommendations for the Flash player games, absolutely. I don't know when exactly we're gonna do that.
Unlicensed dental operation
I really
for
gotta
years,
set that up,
and a grand jury returned an indictment with counts including violations of Georgia's RICO Act, dozens of counts of theft by deception, and multiple charges relating to practicing dentistry and medicine without a license. And Georgia's RICO Act is basically a law that lets procedures charge someone for running an ongoing criminal operation. But not just one isolated crime. Basically, it's used when the state believes a person committed repeated illegal acts as a part of their business scheme. So typically, you see it in organized crime cases, but this time, it's for a fake veneer scheme. His arraignment is scheduled for this month,
Or I
January...
might even make a Twitter, you know what? I might make a Twitter post, which might even be easier, and then asking for recommendations. That way I could get a community-wide, recommendations from everybody in the
2026, and at the time of recording this video, the actual date isn't scheduled. But
I definitely don't want to just play one Flash player and then only do that for a stream. I want to sort of like showcase a bunch of them, you know what I mean?
What I do know is that the state is treating this as an organized crime enterprise. So it doesn't seem like they're going to be going too easy on him. And what makes this update especially wild is the timing, because I had to go catch up on what Brandon's
I
been
wonder
up
if he didn't, like, if he doesn't mess up teeth, does he actually get less charges, or does he like
to recently since we last covered him. And it's safe to say the dude has not been laying low at all, because right up until these charges landed, he was still posting nonstop online. Luxury cars, designer clothes, high-end lifestyle meant to show off, I guess, success.
Wait, to be fair, right? If you have a medical practice and you're technically not paying any of the money to like, you know, the insurance companies or anyone else, you know, like, yeah, that's probably a decent amount of cash.
And confidence and status, but in reality, it seems like he's just an insecure man who might have made his riches from illegally drilling into people's teeth. So while prosecutors were out there building a case that stretches all the way back to 2021, Brandon was still on social media posting like nothing was ever happening. And the sick part of this is, according to investigators, that money came from people who trusted him with their teeth. And now he has potentially permanently altered their teeth forever. The dude is a prime example of someone who needs to get backhanded by the law. But if you have not heard of Brandon Dillard,
So even the customers had no idea that he was unlicensed? Okay, because it does kind of, it changes it quite a bit if the people who went to him were under the impression that he was a real dentist as well. Because I, like, not for nothing, but living in the ghetto, I had absolutely seen and heard about situations where people had, like, home offices.
before, here's a short version of him. He operated under the name of A-List Smiles Atlanta and claimed to be a veneer technician, a title that legally does not even exist. It's made up on TikTok to sell awful dental services to people who don't know better, unfortunately. And we've been covering him for years here on this channel, because if you know anything about me, I hate social media scammers. I despise people who use their online platforms to hurt strangers who trust them. And also, he offered cosmetic dental procedures at a fraction of the cost of a licensed dentist, and also sold expensive training courses to teach others how to do the same thing. So all of this is taking advantage of how
Right, now that, yeah, he's doing way too much. That starts to get, like, if you don't even got your license, how the hell are you gonna start trying to teach people shit?
incredibly expensive the US, I guess, medical and dental.
And it's like, it doesn't even matter if he has or does not have the skills to get the job done. Because it could totally be that he has the skills to be a dentist. However, there's a reason why we give licenses out. We don't want the bar, the window, or sort of the door to become a dentist to be too low. Because if any random prick could just become a freaking dentist, then we're gonna get a lot of people that get scammed. Potentially, idiots might be messing up people's teeth. Getting your license, bare minimum, shows that you have the basic knowledge required to safely conduct these procedures on people. And not for nothing, but there's like this sort of like moral, not moral, illegal, and I don't want to say moral, but basically a moral and legal protection for doctors and dentists of all kinds, that you could sort of say, hey, you know, they did everything they could within reason, and they have a license, therefore we can all generally come to an understanding that unless there's been, very evident negligence done here, for the most part, we can all sort of like breathe easily, knowing that if this particular person didn't make it after an accident, the doctor definitely did everything in his power to try to help. Why? Because he's licensed. He's a licensed doctor, and so we at the very least we know that he meets a certain minimum requirement.
Dental care is, which makes these schemes even more sinister, because he's targeting desperate people that cannot afford real dental health care. And obviously, when he inevitably wrecks their teeth, they then have to go to real dental health care and get their stuff fixed after they paid him a whole bunch of money. So then they have to pay the real cost plus the tax of paying for his scam. But these guys do this shady business crap. They get a whole bunch of money and they can't help themselves when it comes to selling courses. So of course it's not enough scamming people and, you know, drilling on people's teeth when you don't even have a license. Now they have to figure out, oh, well, I could make more money by teaching other future scammers how to do this. So we can just wreck way more people's teeth together. Wow. Again, these guys deserve to get backhanded by the law.
Yeah, go ahead and send a message, Sam. If anybody wants to send Flash player games, like Newgrounds type deals, we'll probably do a day of like just sort of checking them all out, having fun. I will more than likely be giving them a bit of a test run, or if I don't, I'll ask Chaos or Burrito or DW to like do a test run on them. But more than likely, just expect that I might be doing a test run before we play them on stream, just to make sure that I don't that nothing on there will get me in trouble as well. You know, I'll do my own due diligence if I can.
But at this point, I feel like it's just kind of like a pipeline, because shady businesses almost always equal to shady courses, because those courses promised fast money and quick success, all without dental school, licensing, or medical oversight. So essentially, as I said previously, he was teaching other people how to illegally wreck people's teeth. And to make things even worse or better, because at least now he's getting caught, the dude was an idiot. He was not subtle.
Besides that, here's my whole thing as well. It's like not only are you and I have absolutely no evidence that this is what was happening, right? But if you're selling students courses on how to be a dentist, the problem is that these like students are now going to you expecting that you're actually going to teach them properly, and if you don't, they will now go and like try to be a dentist, potentially mess somebody's teeth up. And at a certain point, I still feel like that's your fault for if they mess it up. It's your fault for, you know, not following the sort of like rule set that we've created that sort of says, hey, this person qualifies to be a dentist, and they sort of met those requirements. You know, you can't really blame them because they think that they are prepared because you told them that they are, you know?
About anything at all. He posted procedures online.
Does he call himself a dentist? I mean, so far from the way Atozi is like explaining it, it sounds like, yeah, he himself was sort of like not saying that he was not licensed. It seems like he was passing off. He was trying to pass himself off as a licensed dentist.
Everything directly on TikTok and Instagram. Hence why I kept calling him a TikTok dentist or a TikTok veneer tech, because that's what he was calling himself, because, you know, he legally couldn't call himself a dentist.
You want some Quicksilver bloodletting with that bill? Bloodletting, honestly, in the US, I wouldn't be surprised if not only we started doing that sometime in the near future, but also we start to charge like an arm and a leg for it.
Dentist, but therefore he came up with the loophole of being like, guys, I'm a veneer tech. It's not only him. There's a whole bunch of them on TikTok. Hopefully they're scared now. But he showed off his results, client reactions, and behind the scenes content.
You can call yourself witch doctor, but not doctor. You can call yourself, the thing is that a witch doctor is technically like, that is its own thing. Now, if you were a doctor, witch doctor, then that would be illegal, right? You can't be a doctor, witch doctor. You could just be a witch doctor.
Like it was just like any other influencer business. And for a long
I can't think of a good example, but English is just hilarious, all right?
time, apparently it worked because people flew from out of state and paid thousands of dollars. But law enforcement says that this was all never legitimate. Prosecutors allege that Diller performed damaging dental procedures, trained others to do the same, and collected millions of dollars while knowing he was not legally allowed to do any of it. And I swear, every time I cover his cases, my teeth start phantom hurting just by imagining him shaving down people's teeth and sticking cheap veneers from AliExpress, by the way. That is complete.
Oh, come on, bro, giving you the Alibaba teeth.
Speculation, by the way, but it seems like that's true because one of my previous
if you're not licensed, I'm willing to believe anything, right? Let's be honest.
Videos covering him, we found the set of teeth that they were shilling in their courses, and it looked identical to the one they were selling on AliExpress. So imagine paying thousands of dollars to get the AliExpress special in your teeth that you now have to live with forever. Yeah, No. And what makes this stuff even worse is like you had a bunch of dentists.
And I'm not necessarily saying anything bad about, Alibaba or AliExpress, but I'm just gonna say it right now. 9 out of 10 times, the crap I order on Alibaba, not only is it wrong, but it's crappier than anything else. Like, it's a mess. I don't think I've ever ordered anything from Alibaba or AliExpress, and I actually got, like, anything I can even say is, like, cheap quality. Like, I wouldn't even call it cheap quality. It looks like somebody took the 99-cent store version and made a bootleg version of that, like the 50-cent store. You get me? Like, somebody get the 10-cent, like, let me get a nickel store variant.
Screaming at TikTok saying, hey,
I got a PhD in witch doctorate. Ah, I see.
Hey, these guys are putting veneers on decayed teeth, which, is an absolute nightmare and could be life-threatening. And that's exactly what prosecutors were saying as well, because they were saying that their patients were put at risk, not just financially, but medically as well. Patients were sharing horror stories about infections, broken teeth, and massive repair bills. And still, the operation just kept going. In fact, it grew so much that prosecutors say that this went on for years. From 2021 through late 2024, he brought in millions of dollars.
Last fall, we watched Brandon Dillard appear from jail before a judge.
Millions. So he obviously had a huge customer base.
Dillard called himself Atlanta's top veneer specialist, but Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis calls him a dangerous criminal.
This is an illegitimate operation.
Last October, we were the only media there as investigators raided A-List Smiles Atlanta. Prosecutors allege that Dillard pocketed more than $4 million from 2021 to 2024, while the indictment...
Just out of pure curiosity, and maybe he didn't have nurses, but if he did have nurses, I kind of want to know if they knew. Like, did they know he was, like, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine if just someday everyone's, like, somebody just sort of shows up and is just like, hey, I need to see your boss. It's like, oh, sure, why? It's like, because he's not actually a dentist. Like, do I gotta start looking for another job? Like what do you do?
Patients suffered damage to their teeth and mouths. Last year, Christy Brown
told me so he actually was messing up people's mouths.
Paid Dillard $3,000 for veneers. Her dentist immediately noticed problems with at a cleaning.
The way it was put on, he just kept asking who did this.
Brandon Dillard is not a dentist. As much as he may want to play one.
Oh hell nah, bro. If an actual real doctor or a real dentist is like, who did this? Like, like, bro, I'm about to take a baseball bat to your car or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what the hell did you do to me?
On Instagram, he is not.
I trusted you.
$4 million. You have to own a very large dental practice as a legitimate dentist to make that kind of money. Like, don't get me wrong, dentists make good money, especially if they own their practice, but to get to $4 million in what, 4 years, that's $1 million a year? That's a pretty
Again, but that's because I'm assuming even though he was doing it at, a fraction of the price of the real deal operations, like, let's be honest, he's not giving any of that money. Like, he's not gonna give that much. Like if I had to guess, right, what are the chances he gave the IRS their cut of the money, right? What are the chances he gave his taxes every year? What are the chances that he reported that? What are the chances that he actually used all that money to buy actual expensive real equipment? You know what I mean? Like, he pocketed a lot of that cash. So easily, I feel like easily normal, legitimate, like, dentistry could get into the multi-millions, if not billions. But the insurances keep a lot of that money. Like, the vast majority of that money. Like, hell, here in America, if you go to the hospital and they put a bandage on you, that band-aid, a band-aid, by the way, not anything special, not like a special band-aid. I mean, just an actual band-aid for a light cut. $90 in America, in Texas. Like, I'm just putting that out there.
Big practice. So he was making well over
$90 for a freaking band-aid
when he wasn't even
Texas.
an actual dentist. Probably because he focused on the cosmetic dentistry and sold these.
And of course, I didn't have to pay it because I have insurance, right? But damn.
Courses. Also, maybe he allegedly also.
Like, where'd you get this freaking bandage from? Like, who made this?
The teeth that he used as veneers from AliExpress. So
Like, does the Band-Aid have aloe vera on it? Like, what the hell? Like,
the cost of goods that he
is
was
it made out of like angel hairs, like angel hair fibers? Like, what the hell?
selling was very cheap, allegedly again. But honestly, at this
'Cause it
point,
looks
things
like
are
a-
just kind
a
of
generic
predictable.
ass
Like, 'cause this
Band-Aid
kind of
from
scam
Rite Aid.
survives for so long in plain sight because when something looks, I guess, confident enough, people stop asking the basic questions. Which is probably why, even though he was in a whole bunch of legal trouble, he still posted stuff like this.
Y'all be popping out with Chanel bags, but we never see you in the store. We never see you with the champagne. We might not even get to see an unboxing. Mind you, y'all be like, come with me to get my nails done. Come with me.
Like, to be completely honest with everybody, though, it's stupid of him to record it and post it up, especially with the dollar amounts. But that is an old school pimp technique. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but what pimps used to do back in the day, you see, is they never carried cash. Cold hard cash. You want to know why you never carry cold hard cash as a pimp? Because when you get arrested, and inevitably you will, whether or not you did anything illegal, or whether or not they have the right to search you and arrest you, you will get arrested, you will get detained, and they will take your possessions. If you are found guilty, if anything happens, whatever the fudge, while you're in a jail cell, or when you get sent to prison, cold hard cash can easily go missing, can be misplaced, can suddenly disappear in the system, any number of different problems. But articles of clothing, jewelry, diamonds, those ginormous fuzzy purple pip hats, and those super expensive animal fur jackets, well, that's property. And while they can take away cash because potentially that cash was being used illegally, well, you can't really prove that your chain or your diamond ring or your whatever, your coat, you can't really say that that is used for illegal purposes, right? That's not cash. It's not cold hard cash. That cannot be taken away from you. It's protected, and when you are released, it needs to be returned back to you. So pimps never, ever, 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 ever carried cash. They would if they got $100, they got $1,000, they instantly went and bought something. You bought something, anything, whatever it was. You bought something expensive and nice, and if you needed money, you went to the pawn shop and you sold that diamond ring for like whatever a cool $800, and you spent the $800. You get what I'm saying? You never carry cash. So it's actually kind of smart that you would if you don't want your cash to be taken away from you when you go to jail, you kind of do want to put it into purses. You want to put it into other stuff. Now again, the problem here is he recorded himself buying it, so it's like you're like, well, you're stupid, right? Like you're building up your own case and your own evidence against yourself.
Horrible. But that Chanel bag, you didn't say.
There you go. I just taught y'all a little bit of pimp logic. You're welcome.
Get that Chanel bag. That bag is fake news. Stop the cash. Sorry,
Yeah, you gotta have the prison purse.
Like, why would you post stuff like that in the middle of an ongoing case? The only good thing about this case is at least he's a dumb criminal who snitched on himself. Like, the dude is being investigated for organized crime, and then he's posting videos about how much money this alleged organized crime made him. Please, someone explain the logic to me. Like, a part of me thinks that he was posting all these videos and buying all this stuff to have one last, I guess, life of luxury feeling before he gets locked up. But he probably realized, or his legal team realized, this was an awful idea, so he's now deleted all the videos I'm now currently showing. So I'm just saying.
I can imagine as well, but here's the thing, right? While what I said was all true, if you freaking record yourself buying all that crap, then obviously they're gonna go after it. Because there's always a plausible deniability if he would have purchased all these purses and then they go to arrest him. Like, his girlfriend did not necessarily commit the crime, and her possessions cannot necessarily be confiscated. You understand? Now, if he's recording himself purchasing it himself and shit, like, then okay, then you know that he purchased it with blood money, so to speak. So it's like, yeah, they can probably use that video to repossess the item. You know, like you played
If
yourself.
I can save these videos before they're deleted, then the prosecutors can as well. Because the dude got all this money from a job title that technically doesn't exist legally. Because again, there's no such job as a veneer technician. There's no license to get to become a veneer technician. And it's not a recognized role in dentistry in Georgia or anywhere else. That term exists almost entirely on TikTok because it sounds official enough to make people lower their guard. Real cosmetic dentistry.
And the thing is that if any court asks TikTok for the because remember, nothing ever truly gets deleted. If they ask TikTok to see if they could like get that footage back within a reasonable time, absolutely TikTok will be able to get their hands on that footage within a reasonable amount of time. They have multiple backups. Typically, there would be lots of backups of the servers in case something terribly goes wrong. You have some kind of backup, and you can revert the entire site back to how it was at a previous point in time.
Just spend years in school, and then
it might not be perfect, but there absolutely are ways for them to get access to this. Within reason, right? Of course, after a while, it's gonna freaking go away. You're never gonna get your hands on it again. But the internet is forever. Somebody has it saved. Somebody recorded a freaking stitched together a duo, a video talking about him, recommending him, something. Somebody has something somewhere, right? Tozy here has recorded the footage as well. You know what I mean?
There's more learning how to do veneers safely. This is not some 2-day course with mimosa kind of thing, because veneers permanently alter the structure of your teeth. They involve grinding, shaping, bonding, and managing how your bite comes together. One small mistake can lead to infections, nerve damage, gum disease, or long-term tooth loss. This is why dentistry is regulated and why only licensed professionals are legally allowed to perform this kind of work. And the reason veneer tech scams spread so easily is cost, because, real veneers are extremely expensive. They can cost anywhere from hundreds of dollars per tooth to into the thousands. And those prices scare people away. So now you have veneer techs filling the gap by offering way cheaper alternatives, but in return, you're getting the worst work done. And very likely teeth straight from AliExpress. And experts have been warning about this for years. Dentists have said over and over again that these procedures are irreversible and that unlicensed providers often...
What's the term for the Chinese fake buildings? Tofu dreg? You go get yourself some of them tofu teeth.
Glue veneers over existing...
Them nice Alibaba tofu teeth.
Decay or infections. And people end up paying so much more later on to undo the damage, sometimes losing teeth entirely in the process. So veneer technicians often display certificates, waivers, and, other stuff they got from their 2-day mimosa veneer technician course. And that's to appear legitimate, but in reality, they're all just frauds. I hate this place. I hate that people can just do this to other people, which is why I'm screaming as loud as I can to make as many people aware of these scams. But according to prosecutors, Brandon Dillard didn't just perform these procedures himself. He also sold training courses to teach others how to do the same. Students paid thousands of dollars to learn a skill that could get them sued or charged with a crime as well. So, the charges...
Yeah, and admittedly, it'll be a case-by-case situation, basis, but those students are victims just as much as any of the customers, and that's what sucks. Because now they're gonna go and try to do something that they may not be prepared to do.
Just keep stacking on him.
Because they've been told that they are.
113 to be exact. But a lot of his victims from the courses later came forward saying they were scammed into believing this is a real career path, only to find themselves facing their own legal trouble when dental board stepped in. So, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. That's where I'm getting at. 100%, and even if there were a million red flags, all of these problems should absolutely fall back to the same the originator, basically the original werewolf, so to speak. He spread it to those dentists. Those dentists accidentally messed somebody else up. But you gotta take out the original werewolf so that all the other people can be cured and healed.
But this is why authorities are treating this as organized crime, because From their perspective, it looks like an organized operation built around illegal medical work, which explains the RICO charges. Because even with arrests and indictments, veneer tech
I will say this though, if they all knew he was a fake dentist though, and like he like flat out said it, or like it was an obvious thing, or like it really was to the point where it like they were in on the scam, then yeah, they should face their own repercussions. Period. Right? I totally agree on that end.
is still all over TikTok somehow.
I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
How is this happening still? While digging through all this, I found another creator who posted a full 6-part story time about how she was scammed into becoming a veneer tech herself. And she claims that she was sold the same dream that many others were. The whole fast money, legitimate sounding title, and promising that this was a real skill that you could turn into a business.
Hey y'all.
That being said, not a single student should be allowed to keep a single penny that they got or earned with that false license. Not a single student, even if it wasn't their fault. Nobody should get that money. Or rather, well, it should go back to the original, like, in a perfect world, all that money should be paid back to the victims, to the true victims that got their teeth messed up. And anyone, even if they didn't get their teeth messed up, anybody that got worked on should be refunded their money, period.
This is my story time on how I got scammed into becoming a veneer tech and lost, well, I want to say $2,500, but overall it was like a $5,000 investment, and I got sued. Let's start there. I got sued today by North Carolina Board of Dental Examiners.
Guess what?
And the thing is, the victim the victim should absolutely win that case. She should then open another case, or she can also do it simultaneously, suing the guy, the original sinner, for the same amount that she got sued for, right? I'm not saying that she should, like, because there is a process to it. She's gonna get sued by the victim, and then therefore, she is going to then sue the original guy for any losses brought upon by that lawsuit and brought upon by that situation. The funny thing is that even most of the witch doctors think they help their patients, clients, and victims. Well, isn't that the thing, right? The highway to hell is paved with good intentions. That obviously this lady, you know, like, for all intents and purposes, she genuinely, in my opinion, right, I don't know 100%, right, but she genuinely thought that she was going to take a course, become licensed or certified to become, like, a veneer technician. Now, maybe that's real, maybe that's not. Let's be completely honest. I don't know what the hell half of the shit doctor, like half of the freaking titles in doctor fields are freaking made up from what I can tell, right? Like, I don't know what a freaking a lab technician is, or a freaking, you know, you might get a CAT scan technician, or you might get an X-ray technician, or you might get, you know, some of these, you know, it's in the name. Other ones, you're not quite sure what the hell that is. You might get an ultrasound technician, and you don't know what the hell an ultrasound is. It sounds like something. It sounds like something you might have in headphones. You know, like you might not know what, you might not understand it. So, for all intents and purposes, she genuinely might just believe that this is a very specialized form of dentistry. You know, like, kind of like an orthodontist, or a what is it? What's the like a pathologist? A pathologist is like a scientist for like diseases, right? If I'm not mistaken, or a virologist, a freaking, you know, there's all kinds of different freaking names. So it's understandable that to the normal everyday person, they might not know that this is not some kind of highly specialized or position. They're putting their full and complete confidence and trust into this like other human being. And that's a tragedy. It's a shame. She genuinely might think that she is helping her patients, because she genuinely thought that that she was equipped with the skills to do the job. And if she actually did go to a legitimate school, yeah, by the time you graduate, theoretically, you met the standards of the school. And to a certain degree, if you start messing up at your job, people might start to wonder, what freaking school did you go to? And so I can never send my kids to that one, you know? Because what the hell? Like that was trash work. You get me? So there's layers to this. I don't want to just completely shit on these people, because they're also victims. But at the same time, yeah, you're gonna get sued. The patient should get their money back, and you should also sue the person for your money back and for any losses that you might have gotten because of his fault.
I got sued. Let's start there. I got sued.
I can sell you lampreys that do blood tests and X-rays.
North
sweet.
Carolina Board of Dental Examiners.
Oh, that's cool. That's adorable. How'd you teach that?
Money will always
teach
hurt
that
you in the
at
long
SeaWorld
run.
or what?
You don't want any of that because nothing in life is free. Real dentists get paid a whole.
Freaking a lamprey again? That's the freaking. Is that an actual fish? What the freaking is a lamprey? Okay, yeah, lamprey. Okay, yeah, that's the bloodletting stuff. Got it. Understood. Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. The hagfish.
Whole bunch of money because guess what? It's not easy nor cheap to get through dental school. But then she was invited to attend a course herself. She took classes where she said,
I mean, to be fair, right? If the lamprey keeps drinking your blood, it's probably good blood, right?
that everyone talked over each
I mean,
other.
it might not be healthy, but at least it's tasty.
But by the end, she was given a certificate for completing the course. Nightmare. This is a nightmare situation. You don't want any of these people working on your teeth.
You said how long was it? I'm sorry, how long was it?
A whole bunch of money because guess what? It's not easy nor cheap to get through dental school. But then she was invited to attend a course herself. She took classes where she said that everyone talked over each other, but by the end, she was given a certificate for completing the course. Nightmare. This is a nightmare situation. You don't want any of these people working on your teeth. And
all right, no. If she genuinely got a license, if they genuinely got a license after taking one freaking class, like the equivalent of like one class, you showed up one time and then got your certificate, I start to genuinely doubt the validity of you being ignorant to the whole scam. Right? Like nobody goes to a freaking class one time, gets their certificate, like, all right, I guess I can start messing with people's freaking teeth. I could permanently change someone's, like, deform somebody. Hell no. Who the hell actually thinks that? That's not logic. That don't make no sense.
she was then given a list of items to get to start putting veneers on people's mouths. And here she got everything off of eBay and Amazon. Come on. She also did a set on her board.
That is not... Nah, son. I don't believe that for a second. You started to lose me. I know I just went on a whole rant about trying to defend her, but now you're starting to lose me. Like, there's too many points on this graph.
Boyfriend and
paints
her
a pretty
family,
clear picture.
and even made an Instagram. Again, come on. The comments, I agree with the comments here because everyone's roasting her, saying that maybe you should have done a little bit of research yourself. At no points did any of this.
Nah, son, if you buy dentistry shit from eBay, I don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know enough to deny that that's a valid place to get that. I'm just saying that if I found that out about my dentist, I wouldn't go back to my dentist.
Feel too good to be true, but obviously, just like everyone
You know what I'm
else,
saying?
you got hit with a lawsuit because of this.
I'm not
But
smart enough to be like, eBay's not the place to buy that. I don't know where the hell you buy medical supplies, really. But I just wouldn't trust my dentist if I found out that he bought it from eBay.
thing she had to do was sign a statement saying that she would no longer
I wouldn't
practice
show up
putting
anymore.
veneers on people, but she lost about $5,000 in the investment process. So it's safe to say that 113 charges is a whole lot worse than what she got.
Speaking of which, I still haven't set up my appointment after I freaking lost a tooth from my hospital
And then
situation.
he had us bring somebody, he brought somebody else in for us to practice on. And he really had us sitting there and using these tools and telling us what to do and how to do these veneers. Now, the second class...
Now, whether I believe it or not, like, her ignorance, it doesn't matter. She still should get sued, and the actual clients should get their money back, and then she absolutely should still sue the original guy. No matter, even if like, in the theoretical world, even if she knew a little bit in the back of her head, might have maybe thought it was a scam, like, she still deserves the right to sue him and recoup her losses, so to speak.
Lasted about 4 hours.
I truly do believe that.
All these certificates. So it says certificate of completion. Our company is pleased to be able to award this certificate to my name right here.
Oh, hell no. The first problem is it says our company, girl. What do you mean, our company? That's some generic ass, like, I copy paste. Let me get a template from Microsoft templates. Our company. What do you mean, our company? Huh?
Completion of composite veneers. It says the date. It says his name, Devon Odueso, and it says that he's an instructor. And they gave us these with the frame and everything, and was like, "Congratulations, you're not a veneer."
Yeah, we understand what happened. But that doesn't, like, those can easily be faked, right? You understand that?
Yay!
So in Brandon's case, authorities are urging anyone who received services from him or participated in training programs to come forward. And that alone tells you how wide they
What I do love, though, is that what is good and what I do love is that, yeah, like, absolutely, if it has his name there, he is so screwed, because this is all she needs to sue the hell out of him. She should sue the ever-loving fudge out of him, and basically, if she can, make that motherfudger have to pay her for the rest of his life.
believe this operation was. Because when prosecutors ask for victims and trainees to contact them, it usually means they believe there's a whole bunch of people affected here. And to be clear, no one has been convicted yet, and any sentence would also come after a trial or a plea deal. And that said, obviously, the charges Brandon are facing is very serious. Georgia's RICO charge alone can carry 5 to 20 years in prison per count. You know, if you actually add everything up, he's facing 888 years in prison, which is just...
Yep, hold up. Never, ever, 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 look, I'm gonna keep saying this every time. It's never the maximum sentence. It's never, ever, ever the maximum sentence. Judges will always, by default, try to get the lowest possible sentence. That's just the way it is. I don't know why. I get it. It's for the sensationalism of YouTube, right? We always kind of want to exaggerate a little bit, but it's gonna be 5 years maximum, like realistically, right? I'm not saying that it is max. The max is 20 years, but realistically, 5 years is what we can hope for. But even then, that's still like 5-6 lifetimes, right? That's still like 500 plus counts. I mean, years. If you divide by 5 the counts, you know, so that's still like 5 or 6 lifetimes.
Diabolical. But in cases like this, sentences often depend on how many victims are actually confirmed. And
it was like, what, 113 counts that he was being, like, yeah, times 5? That's still like 5 or 6 lifetimes.
Money was actually involved. But either way, it's safe to say that Brandon is now looking at a whole bunch of tough years ahead. So please, guys, just because someone has a whole bunch of followers online, don't trust them to do medical work on you. But hey, drop a like on this video if you want me to actually pull up this trial and cover it from start to finish like I do with so many of the other cases. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, because right now I gotta catch a flight because I'm gonna cover another trial. Peace.
Absolutely. Oh, crap. My bad. No, back.
This fake
absolutely amazing video. I just gotta say though, it's like, it is one of those things where even though most people, and it's true, like, whoa, dummy, why didn't you, like, come on, how'd you fall for that? Hindsight's 20/20, man. I'm gonna be real with you. I have never gone to my real, actual dentist, genuine, like, real dentist, and just, like, started, like, looking at their certificate, like, hold on, no, let me see, where you went to school? How do I know you're legit? How you know, I never pressed my dentist before. So it's like, how the hell are you supposed to know? But that's why we need to make sure that these people face as much punishment as possible to really try to make sure that we never get problem in situations like this again, you know? And it sucks, but we gotta kind of be a little bit fair to them too. You know, it's not 100%. Like, I'm not saying I would fall for it or that anybody would fall for it. I'm just saying I haven't pressed my dentist lately. You know, on his like credentials. You know, maybe I should. Maybe we all should start checking our dentists. But I just haven't. To be fair. Are they being called Zoomers because that's how they got their skills? I'm gonna be honest with you. I genuinely believed it was because everybody was like on Zoom at the time for a while. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. But I think at this point, I think you probably could have gotten a better education on dentistry if you did it like through a legit way through Zoom. Than if you actually went to this guy's course, right? Phenomenal video from a Tozy. Please go drop him a like, go drop him a sub, all that good stuff. Links are going to be down in the description below if you're on the VOD, and it's in the Discord now. Alright, I'm going to go pee real quick. Give me like 2 minutes. I want to check out this Demi video and this Hero High video, and then we're going to call it, and we'll switch on over to Dying Light. But just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to go pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Baby, I'm calling for you, and I'm stuck in a loop. Baby, I'm calling for you, and I'm stuck in a loop. For you, and I'm stuck in a loop.